Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWAS Monday Night Football Week 9. We got Bucs on the road in Arrowhead. As far as Sunday, I had a pretty good one. Sitting at 6-3 right now, I believe. 1 o'clock slate went awesome. I was 4-1. That Seahawks loss, man. I deserved that one. I deserved that Seahawks win. But overall, having a good Sunday. This Vikings game doesn't look like it's going to plan, but even if I lose the Vikings and the over, I still had a winning day. So good Sunday. Needed it after a bad college football Saturday. Bucs Chiefs in Arrowhead. Let's do it.
Welcome to the SWAS. The SWAS. SWAS. Hey, get the sauce.
All right, like I said, Tampa's on the road at Kansas City here. Chiefs are laying 9 points at home. Total sitting at 45.5. Take a look at the pie charts, and according to the data, action seems to be coming in pretty split on this one, actually slightly leaning towards Tampa Bay. Just over 50% of the tickets, just over 55% of the money. Take it with a grain of salt. So let's get into this matchup, and we'll start with a quick trend. Kansas City has actually struggled with this Bucs team. Tampa Bay is 8-3 in their last 11 matchups against the Chiefs, 3-1 in their last trips to Arrowhead. So the Bucs have not had problems playing this Chiefs team, but obviously these date back multiple years. Not very relevant, but I thought it was interesting enough to include in the video. So what do we think about this Bucs offense on the season? Looking like a top 10 unit, right? 5th in yards per play, 3rd in success rate, top 10 passing numbers, even top 10 rushing numbers. We were talking about it last week. Actually, if you just isolate the last 5 or 6 weeks, the Bucs might have the best rushing attack in the NFL. I mean, they've been running the ball on everybody recently, but they're definitely going to have their hands full in this one because the Chiefs have been great defensively. They're 5th in the NFL in yards per play allowed, 20th in success rate. Look at their numbers specifically against the run. 2nd in yards per carry allowed, 8th in success rate per rush, 3rd in EPA, 2nd in DVOA. The reason that's so significant, just talked about how the run has been a crucial part of the Bucs offense recently, and now with the injuries to wide receiver here for the Bucs, they're going to need that run game more than ever. As I'm sure you've heard, there's no Mike Evans, there's no Chris Godwin. Their other 2 receivers are banged up too. McMillan and Sterling Shepard, both questionable for this game, although I think both are going to play, both participated in practice, so I think the Bucs will have those 2 guys, but no Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin. That being said, let's not pretend that this Bucs offense was just lost last week without him. The Bucs offense actually looked good. I bet the Bucs last week. I lost that bet, not because of the offense. I lost that bet because the Bucs defense looked terrible. We'll get into that in a second. But last week against the Falcons, without Mike Evans, without Chris Godwin, 26 points, 6.2 yards per play is excellent. Over 51% success rate is excellent. So the Bucs offense was fine. And look at the passing numbers. 330 yards through the air, over 53% success rate per dropback, 96.5 average pass rating, 6.7 yards per attempt. Well, actually, isn't that great. But the point I'm making is we can't just write this Bucs offense off because they're missing their 2-star wide receivers. This is still an effective offense. This is still a dangerous offense. And the Chiefs defense isn't in the best of shape right now. They're still missing Mike Dana on the edge. He's going to miss this game. He hasn't played since, I think, like week 4. He's been out since. Also, Jalen Watson's going to miss another game. He didn't play last week as well. And Nazeed Johnson, the corner that started in Jalen Watson's spot, he's out. So the Chiefs are very thin at corner in this one. Here's where it gets a little concerning for Tampa Bay, the Chiefs' defensive line, because they are not getting moved off the line of scrimmage. 2nd in adjusted line yards, 4th in run defense grade, 1st in yards before contact. The reason that's so significant is a huge part of the Bucs' recent success running the ball is the offensive line. The Bucs' offensive line has been excellent recently. In the last 5 or 6 weeks, they've been one of the strongest offensive lines in the NFL. They've been bullying their opponents. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that on the road in Arrowhead because, like I said, this Chiefs defensive front has been tough to move. And when you look at the Bucs' last 6 games, the rushing numbers look excellent, right? 145 rushing yards per game, 5.8 yards per carry, 43.6% success rate per rush. Excellent rushing numbers, one of the most efficient rushing attacks in the NFL over the last 6 games. That being said, look at the opponents. Denver, their run defense kind of just got exposed by Baltimore. Philadelphia, not a good run defense. Falcons, bad run defense. Saints, one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. Baltimore, that was the game they lost, and they weren't really running the ball. They scored a lot of points in garbage time, making their stats look better than they were. And then Atlanta again, bad run defense. I'm not trying to take credit away from the Bucs run game here. I'm just saying they may have benefited from seeing a bunch of bad run defenses. And if you look at this list, who are the tougher defenses that they've seen? Denver, would they lose 26-7? They got their asses beat by Denver, and Baltimore. I mean, they lost that one as well. So I don't know. I don't know what I think about this Bucs rushing attack. All I know is they're on the road in Kansas City, who's been one of the best run defenses in the NFL. Now, if you are looking to take the points with the Bucs, I do have something for you here. Spagnuolo blitzes a lot. They're actually third in the NFL, the Chiefs' defensive blitz rate so far this year. That's good news because Baker Mayfield has been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL when blitzed so far this year. Completion percentage, yards per attempt, PFF passer grade, turnover-worthy play rate, passer rating, top 10 in every single category. You can see significantly better than his numbers when he's not blitzed. What else does Spagnuolo do defensively? Man coverage, 2 high safety looks. 8th in man coverage frequency, 2nd in 2 high safety looks. Now, that's good news for Baker. He's got great numbers against man coverage this year. 5th in completion percentage, 9th in yards per pass attempt, 4th in passer rating. Got excellent numbers against man, so that's a positive thing for the Bucs. Now, I do question if we're going to get this same sort of production against man coverage without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, because as I'm sure you know, huge part of beating man coverage isn't just the quarterback, it's the wide receiver beating his coverage. So without those two guys, who knows if Baker Mayfield's numbers look this good against man coverage. I'm willing to guess that they wouldn't, and something that concerns me a little bit for Baker Mayfield here. I also mentioned how the Chiefs run a lot of 2 high safety looks, second most in the NFL. That could be a problem. Most of Baker Mayfield's big plays this year have come against single high safety looks. 11th in completion percentage, just 26th in yards per attempt. So struggling to get the ball downfield against 2 high safety looks. Now missing both those receivers. I don't know how many big plays through the air are going to be there for Baker Mayfield in this game. I do think they're able to run the ball a bit because the offensive line has been that good, but on the road in Kansas City, I can't see the Bucs cashing in on touchdown drives here with no big plays through the air, relying on the run. I could see them settling for 3s, so I bet McLaughlin over 1.5 field goals. I got it at plus 105. I know. It's a stupid bet, but I placed it. Half unit. McLaughlin over 1.5 field goals plus 105. As a whole, don't like this matchup for the Bucs offense. I think it's going to be a struggle here. But what about on the other side of the ball? Let's take a look at the matchup for the Chiefs offense. Been a pretty good year for the Chiefs offensively. I mean, look at those success rate numbers. First, second success rate per dropback, first in success rate per rush. These guys are the kings of moving the chains. Not a ton of explosive plays, just 16th in yards per play, 15th in yards per pass attempt, actually just 29th in yards per carry, but first in success rate per rush. So when it comes to short yardage situations, when it comes to 1st and 10 needing those 4 yards, the Chiefs are able to get it done at a very high rate. They're matched up against a Bucs defense that's really struggled this year. It's looking like maybe a bottom 10 defense in the NFL. 27th in yards per play, 27th in success rate, 30th in success rate per dropback. So basically the opposite of the Chiefs offense. Definitely not a great matchup on paper for the Bucs defensively. Now we do have to mention, we talked about how the Bucs are missing receivers. We have to be fair and also mention that the Chiefs have all kinds of problems at the wide receiver position. Obviously, Rashee Rice is still out. Smith-Schuster is not going to play in this game. DeAndre Hopkins obviously just joined the team. Who knows how effective he'll be. It's pretty much Xavier Worthy and Travis Kelce. They're also missing Sky Moore. Hollywood Browns, like all kinds of wide receivers on the IR for the Chiefs here. So the Bucs aren't the only ones with serious wide receiver problems. The Chiefs have their own set of issues here. Now the Bucs are still missing Jamel Dean at corner. He's been out for a while. Antoine Winfield Jr., I don't know what his situation is. I read an article saying that they expect him to play, but he missed Saturday's practice. So I don't know. He's listed as questionable. Again, I read an article saying he's supposed to play. The thing to take away from this Bucs depth chart here is the defensive front. We just talked about how the Bucs defense has been struggling this year. We have to mention that defensive front has been banged up for most of the season. Logan Hall was banged up. Vita Vea was banged up. Cansey missed a few games. So the defensive front is fully healthy, which is huge for the Bucs. But in terms of the secondary, they do still have some issues here. And honestly, healthy or not, I don't know how much faith I have in this Bucs defense right now. In their last 2 games, they're allowing 36 points per game, 8.5 yards per play. That's like playing Madden on rookie. That's Ole Miss against Ball State numbers. 8.5 yards per play, 55.4% success rate. This defense looks terrible, and this is not recency bias. I am mad at them for the Falcons game, but I truly think this defense has shown us enough where we should worry. I don't know if we can trust this defense, especially not on the road in Arrowhead against an offense that always seems to convert every single goddamn third down. And remember when I mentioned before how Spagnuolo blitzes a lot and Baker Mayfield is better against the blitz? Well, check this out. We got Todd Bowles here, who also blitzes a lot, 6th in blitz rate this year. They're top 5 in blitz rate every single year under Todd Bowles. Patrick Mahomes, also better when blitzed. 5th in completion percentage, 5th in pressure to sack rate, 19th in passer rating. So not a ton of downfield plays, but he doesn't take the sack. He gets the ball out. He moves the chains. So Patrick Mahomes, just like Baker Mayfield, better against the blitz. Now, if you want to take the Bucs here, I do have something else for you. Tampa Bay, we know what Todd Bowles does, right? He blitzes a lot, sits in cover 3. That's Todd Bowles. It's always been Todd Bowles. Blitzes a lot, sits in cover 3. They're 1st in zone frequency, 3rd in cover 3 frequency. Patrick Mahomes has actually really struggled against cover 3 this year. 13th in completion percentage, but no downfield plays. 24th in yards per attempt, 28th in pass rating. Actually, against cover 3 this year, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So there's something. If you like the Bucs, they blitz and they sit in cover 3. Patrick Mahomes has not been very impressive throwing the ball against cover 3 so far this year. In fact, this Kansas City passing attack as a whole has been less than impressive. They started off the season with a banger, lit the Ravens up, 291 yards, 67.9% success rate per dropback is crazy, 10.4 yards per attempt, 101.9 passer rating. Since then, in their last 6 games, 63.3% success rate per dropback is still great, so they're still moving the chains. 3rd and 3, they're getting to 3, but in terms of downfield passing, 6.9 yards per attempt, average passer rating of 81.2, really hasn't been all that impressive. The problem with fading this Chiefs team is that success rate. They just always get the first down. They always get exactly what they need to get. The stats don't always look pretty, but they execute to perfection. It makes it really tough to fade this team. And let's be honest, the Bucs can't stop the pass. In their last 4 games, by the way, there's a Spencer Rattler game in there. Now, it's Kirk Cousins twice and Lamar Jackson, so maybe cut him a little bit of slack. But there's a Spencer Rattler game in there. In their last 4 games, they're allowing over 321 passing yards per game, 8.8 yards per pass attempt, passer rating over 120, 61.3% success rate per dropback. It's truly a terrible matchup. This Bucs defense cannot get off the field, and the Chiefs offense excel at staying on the field. It's a terrible matchup, which is why I have to do it. This is disgusting. 9 is a huge number. This Bucs team is pretty solid, but I think the move is Chiefs here. I think we got to lay it with Kansas City. Kansas City -9. I haven't bet it yet. In fact, let me check something out real quick. What's the Bucs team total under? Because I could see the Bucs not scoring a touchdown in this game, settling for a bunch of field goals. I think they're really going to struggle. I also could see Baker Mayfield turning the ball over a couple times. Bucs team total 17.5. I like it. Chiefs -9, Bucs team total under 17.5. Those are my picks for this game. I haven't bet anything. I'll post it and we'll talk about it on the live show and I'll let you know what I bet, but it's going to be those. I'm not switching. It'll be Chiefs -9, Bucs team total under 17.5. Not a big bet. This is kind of a weird game, but that's what I like. Live show, 4 p.m. Eastern time. We got college basketball starting, so Toast will be on to talk some college basketball. We got the NFL game. We got NBA. We got all kinds of stuff. For the live show at 4 p.m. Eastern time. If you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. If you want to see all the bets I personally have open, head over to KyleKirms.com and click on Open Bets. You'll see them all posted there. Let's have ourselves a great Monday night. Please remember to bet responsibly. Talk to you in the Discord.